Welcome everyone for another edition of the Future of Insurance. Today we have Michael Jackowski, the founder and CEO of Duck Creek Technologies. Welcome, Mike.
Hey, thank you for having me, Dogan.
Let's start quickly with your background. Tell us about yourself.
Well, Mike Jackowski, as you said, I'm CEO of Duck Creek, and it is interesting because Duck Creek is the combination of a software business formed within Accenture, which I am a founder of that, and then another business bought by Accenture. And I will just say broadly, I have a lot of passion and spent the balance of my career applying technology to the insurance space. So not only did I found that business within Accenture, there was a period where I went to industry. I spent 7 years over at Allstate Insurance as the divisional CIO, implementing technology. And then also just on the business side, I played a large role in running distribution over there, and it just gave me a lot of experience on the business side as well. So, I'd like to think that at least I've seen kind of the 360 nature of the entirety of the insurance market.
Absolutely. So I guess my first question will be about technology and the term full stack. So that's, being a full stack insurance company nowadays, it's the trend, right? That's the, some people say that's the future of insurance. Quite honestly, I have mixed feelings about that, even though I empower and I always encourage the digitalization and technology. When someone tells me full stack insurance company, I feel like this has been tried before, where insurance companies created these huge IT departments and developed systems and in-house especially, which turn out to be legacy systems, which is very costly to switch back from. So is the full stack insurance company a repetition of that, or is there another angle here?
On the full stack insurance company, and it is interesting, I think both of you and I have been around the industry. We've seen this movie before, and it's probably why you're asking this question.
Yep.
And, on one side of it, I really believe in the concept because I know the power of what technology can do end to end in terms of insurability, reducing costs, taking out friction for customers and end users. But at the same time, as we've watched this happen way back in the day around a lot of investment in technology that became antiquated and legacy, and carriers did not stay investing in those technologies, so they aged, and then you didn't get the outcome of what you wanted. And here's what I do believe about technology is, if you invest in it and keep it current, it'll last a lifetime. Some people view technology like cars, it gets old and I'm going to replace it.
Right.
As a SaaS company at Duck Creek, we believe in keeping everything current, very contemporary, like the landscaping in front of your house. So, if you let it get old, you have to replace it every third or fourth year. But if you trim the bushes and take care of it, then it can last a lifetime. And I think when going back to your question on full stack insurers, is it a repetition? It really depends on how are they looking at the ongoing sustainable investments in that technology. And I think that's where providers in the industry can be helpful, because that is our business. That's all we do. We come in every day taking all of our passion, investing in technology. So, but look, when I go look at some of these carriers, like Lemonade, I love what they're doing and why they're doing it and what they represent in the market. And I think carriers that are pushing the envelope to use technology to differentiate themselves is a good thing for society, for insureds at large.
Awesome. There's a question about digitalization and technology full stack. My head always goes to customer experience, because with more digital nowadays, improved customer experience, right? That's the equation at least a lot of people expect. So what is your vision? I guess the question is, what is your vision about customer experience in the insurance space, which hasn't been the best area that we have been successful at, but nowadays we are kind of fixing it. But I'm talking about I'm talking about things like seamless purchase journey, claims experience, and especially the relationship and the trust between the customers and the insurers. And this goes beyond technology, right? So how do you, what do you think about that?
Well, you can look at customer experience across, I'll call it multiple phases, if you will, the way I think about it. The first one is just take the friction out of the process for the end consumer and the distribution partner, whether agent, broker, whoever that might be, because there's too much friction. And there's friction in it because it's regulated, it's a complex industry. But the fact that if I want to endorse a policy, or if I want to make a change in how I want to be billed, et cetera, that I can't do that real time, and it's not simple. And the whole world, through the likes of Amazon and Netflix and others, have been conditioned to say all of this should be simple, right?
Right.
And for me to add my 16-year-old driver as a driver to my automobile and get the new premium and get that right away, or more specifically, I'd say take the friction out for agents and distribution channel. Agents don't want to be an insurance carrier's administrator. They don't want to be doing the manual process. They want to be the advisor to their clients about risk, about coverage, about what they need. And I think taking that out would be helpful. But then once you take the friction out and make the UX simpler, I would say we would move to the next phase, which is be proactive around risk management and coverage. What can we do in terms of providing more data, more information to the end user? So it can be more around what coverages do you need? Businesses like you, this is what they normally insure for. These are the risks that they've seen or the losses that they've seen. And here's, a more exhaustive look around what the needs that you might have. So, I think you move from taking the friction out transactionally to a space where you're actually really talking about risk. And then the ultimate CX is risk prevention. What can carriers do to help their customers, in fact, be safer? And I think even in the light of COVID, we're watching this change where usage base is going to be on the rise. I think it's going to be more popular. And I think, just having monitoring devices is going to help make a safer world and get in the risk prevention business. So, I think it's a high level answer, but simpler UX for the customer, friction out, more advice for the customer, giving them data, and then finally getting into the risk prevention business. And I think the more we have incredible solutions that can span the gamut, the more profound impact we can have on society at large.
My next question will be about the carrier planning, if you will, for insurance professionals, right? And let me expand on that. AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning type of technologies coming into our lives, already here, but expanding every day. It's not only about, a lot of people think, you would be surprised, a lot of people think that it's all about back office and operations only. But actually it's already impacting our lives as underwriters, claim adjusters, more front-end people and colleagues, right? So how do you see the what I call basic skill sets of an insurance professional from this angle, from digital and technology angle, within 5 to 10 years? And what would you suggest to them?
Yeah, on basic skill sets, 5 to 10 years, it's a long way out. But I think what we will ultimately see over time is a shift where in the current world and the past world, it was about a very specific expert, whether you're an operational expert, whether you're an actuary, maybe you grew up in claims, you started as a claims adjuster and you worked your way up the channel. I think that all of us would agree that it's interweaving both technology and business process and operations that is moving the needle most in terms of the impact around carriers really, taking better care of their customers, driving new innovative solutions. And we're seeing it with the insurtech startups that are insurance carriers, and we're also seeing some very profound offerings from some of the leading carriers in the industry. So going back to your question around what skill sets, I'm always a believer that whether or not your background is more technical in nature, then you need to seek out more business acumen. And if you're more business in nature, you need to seek out more technology awareness, because there's very little impact one can make in terms of driving sustainable change forward that isn't the intersection of both business and technology. And as long as I've been in this business, if I've been talking to a technology engineer or a software developer or a comp sci degree, I'd always say, you know what, learn the business. Insurance, it's regulated. It's very complicated. You know, we don't wish for this complexity. We wish it was simpler, but you can't wish it away. And understand it. And until you understand it, you really won't come up with clever ways to automate it and have clever solutions. And then also for folks that are on the business side, learning more about data, analytics, technology, et cetera, because these are going to be a means to the end to drive the new level of efficiency. So, you know, it's tough to kind of take that to broad new skills, but I will say that we're going to see teams that are a more blended makeup of technology, data scientists, and business operations people. And I think profoundly, if they can really learn each other's craft a little more, we're going to see more meaningful change in insurance.
Right. So the solution that you are providing is amazing. Recently, you had an IPO. What is the next generation of Duck Creek?
Well, the next generation of Duck Creek, and I love the question because I love to be very forward-looking. Here's the one thing to know about Duck Creek, though, is we are on a constant evolution. So I don't want you to think of the next generation we're a SaaS provider to the industry. It's all about continuous integration, continuous improvement, continuous deployment. So, I might rephrase the question is, what does Duck Creek look like as we iterate on compelling technologies 3 to 5 years down the road? Because we see this as a continuous investment of ours for the industry. Obviously we want to make core transaction processing much more simple for the industry, right? As an industry platform. How do you quote insurance? How do you bind it? How do you service customers on endorsements, renewals, billing and billing plans, as well as, the moment of truth of handling claims. Like, we really want to keep taking the friction out and simplifying that. But then further and further, we want to bring insight not only around streamlining operations, but how do you operationalize insight, right? And what I mean by that is we really want underwriters and claims adjusters and agents and brokers to work on the things that have a meaningful impact to the customer, right? Not work on things that is bureaucratic process or just necessary regulatory stuff. And so to do that properly, it's about not only doing AI and machine learning or some of these more forward-looking algorithms. Look, there's so many brilliant data scientists and actuaries in our industry, and I respect and admire them all. And a lot of them even have models around what to do. But how do we weave that into the operations, Gogan? Like, weave it in so that now we know, what? We should auto bind this policy because it's going to be a good risk. We should auto renew this one and get the underwriters really looking at these things that need to happen. We should auto open this claim coverage because we know it applies and it should exist. And how do we not only use data for better decision making, but operationalize it, really make it embedded in the operations? And you're going to just see us continue just a very sharp focus on that. So it's not just about making transactions easier, but making systems smarter, making products smarter, more intelligent, and baking intelligence in to the end-to-end life cycle. And that's what the next generation of Duck Creek looks like, so to speak. We know it's an iterative journey to get there, but we're excited about the future that we're building together with our customers.
So as a property underwriter myself, what you just say, if I have to translate it, I don't have to spend half of my time entering data, and I can focus on what matters, which is my expertise and risk prevention.
There's these remarkable data sources that are already out there that we can ingest. They can provide meaningful insight. And as that property underwriter, what you really care about is assessing the risk and doing the right thing on behalf of the client, not entering in data. It's just not useful time. Yeah. It's not very rewarding, quite frankly.
Absolutely. So I have a surprise question, which is, which is this. Can you describe insurance as an industry with 3 words?
Surprise question. In 3 words. Can I slip in a small, I'm going to say taking care of people.
Okay.
So maybe it's not a full word, taking care of people. And I just say that the thing that I love about this industry is we are here to protect people and businesses in their time of need. And I think it's never lost on us. And that's why I would describe insurance that way.
I love it. I love it. All right. Any last thoughts that you would like to share with the audience?
I guess the only last thought that I would share, especially in light of COVID-19, is first off, I hope the audience is safe, healthy, and well as we all experience this together. But every single day, I kind of count my blessings that we belong to an industry that's kind of come through this relatively well compared to other industries like travel and retail and others. So I feel very fortunate on that. And then also together, we just look forward as, Duck Creek, of making a lasting impact, not only on insurance, but protecting people and businesses and on society. So look, we're in a noble industry. If you're not in it, people don't always recognize it. And I appreciate everything that everyone in our industry comes in and does every single day.
I couldn't agree more. And thank you for saying that and reminding all of us the importance of this industry. Mike, thanks a lot for your time and sharing your vision. So hopefully we'll see you again here.
Terrific. Thank you, Dogan. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Take care.